what about a Bills offensive scheme if you had to build one?
So I'm coming out in single back tight slots. I run it flipped, of course. I always like to run it flipped. We'll get to that in a minute. But I come out in primarily 2 plays, halfback pitch or deep post. So first we'll come out in the pitch. Guys, this is no surprise if you're if you're a veteran here to the game, if you're a great player in Madden 18. You're seeing a lot of halfback pitches and a lot of halfback dives from this set. It's for good reason. It's one of the best runs in the game. It's one of the best run combinations in the game. And the reason for it and what makes it so difficult is we're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back old school. Ready?
All right.
3-headed rushing attack.
Yes.
That's what this gives you, okay? And this is the foundation of pretty much all the tips we've ever done in the history of our tips, right? It all started with the 3-headed rushing attack. And what the 3-headed rushing attack is, it gives you the ability to attack your opponent with the run at 3 different points of the line of scrimmage. So with the halfback pitch to the right here, I can run off that right C gap.
Bam.
Right? Now, with a quick flip of X and then right trigger on my Xbox,
and then I could say I've had enough.
Right, you take it away. I can quickly flip this run to the left side with no butt pat. So I can playmaker, but see the butt pat?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna tell your opponent, oh, the run is going to the
Even if
way.
you fake butt pat, it just gets weird.
Gets weird. It clues them in that you're probably running. It just gets weird. So now you can run off the left seat. Now then your run audible down is your interior run. So now you can attack your opponent at all different phases of the offensive line in all different gaps, and they have to respect the running lanes in all of those areas. So it becomes really difficult to defend against. And now let me repeat this. This is the foundation of every offensive scheme that we ever teached back in the day. It all started with the 3-headed rushing attack. It all started with that ability that sets the tone for your offense.
And the reason it started with the 3-headed rushing attack back then, number one, running was amazing. You had great fidelity with the cuts on the left stick, like in Madden 25 with the run-free moves. You also could set your audibles. So
right.
You had the ability to come out in strong close in the quick toss, and then 2 of your audibles could be the counter, in the dive, or the off tackle. So nowadays, when you come out in a run and you press X to see your audibles, you can't set those, and you can only get the ones they give you. So to have a 3-headed rushing attack is difficult because you usually don't have 2 other runs, or the formation's not balanced and you can't flip it. So that's what we like about this type of formation with the 3-headed rushing attack. That's why it's changed, and that's why it's not really the base of the play quite as much anymore. But when you do get it, it's still great.
Well, so here's what is the importance of the 3-headed rushing attack. When you have the 3-headed rushing attack in your back pocket, what ends up happening is you always have the advantage when it comes to the run game. And here's the reason why. So if you take a look at the formation defensively right now, and we look at the box, you always want to get into a numbers counting game. So in this situation, if I take a look and I split this field into segments, right? This is the way we would break it down. Is there's segments. You have the left, you have a C gap segment, you have your interior A and B gap segments, and then you have your outside right C segment. And when you break that up, you then want to then count defenders in that area. So put the middle linebacker where he was, right there, right over the middle. So let's count the left C gap segment. I want you to click onto the defenders off the left side. Okay, the left C gap, keep right in the middle. The left C gap, you start with Bennett. That's 1 defender. Click over to the next guy. That's 2 defenders. Next guy, that's 3 defenders. And the 4th guy is Thomas. There are 4 defenders in the left C gap quadrant of the field. Now let's go to the right side. What do we got here? We got 1 defender. 2, 3,
4, 5.
5. All right, simple math here, Falls. I know math is not your strong suit. I know you were a big history guy.
2 plus 2,
Big
5.
history guy. What is the difference of that math? Which is the better side to run on?
Carry the 1.
Yes.
Calculator app. Left side's better because there's less.
Less defenders.
5 is less than 4.
Okay, so less defenders. So let's take a look at our blockers.
Or, you know what I mean.
Okay, so here's the situation. We have 1 pulling guard, okay, a left tackle that's part of the quadrant, but a pulling guard because he's pulling, so he counts towards that left C gap. Then you have Gabriel and Jones, so that gives me 4 blockers to block that quadrant. How many defenders are over there?
That was the side with
4.
4.
Okay, so
4.
What does 4 offensive blockers versus 4 defensive players mean?
Equal sign.
Equal sign, which means hat on hat, which means now there's no extra defender to make a play on the ball carrier.
Hat on a hat.
Hat on a hat. You're looking good. Now, if I were to run the ball to the right side, what is the problem I get into, Farles? Can you break that down for me? 4 blockers.
4 blockers, 5 defenders. 5 is more than 4. Not a hat on a hat. Bad news bears. 1 tackler's free, and then that's bad.
Correct. Now, when you look in the middle of the field, I want to go halfback dive. Farls, count the interior defenders for me. How many we got?
1, 2.
We're going to also count the
Three?
defensive linemen because they come into play here.
Okay.
So
1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, I can easily scroll by holding down the B button, moving the left, and then once I hold down B, I can just move the left stick like wherever I want to go. And that's
right.
much faster than I just hold.
Now, the interesting thing here with Madden, the new version of Madden now, because you didn't used to have run fits, so it's a great thing that we have run fits now. Because the deep safeties come into play in these interior runs because they play up in the box with a run step first, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to account for the safety. So you can say there's 5 defenders in the immediate area in the middle of the field. You got 5 offensive linemen.
4, 5, 6 almost.
So so this is why these interior runs are really good, right? Because you have that push in the middle of the field. It's hat on a hat. So what ends up happening is if your tackle takes the defensive end on the left, your guard takes Earl Thomas, your center takes the D tackle, your right guard takes right, and your right tackle takes the free safety or the strong safety, that leaves the defensive end on the right edge, in theory, unblocked. He's most likely not going to make a play on you. So that's how you want to look at running the ball, is always count the box. But that is the core foundation of what makes this play so good. So now when I kick this run off to the left, here it is. Now that was poor stick by me. Poor stick. You know how difficult it is to talk and explain at the same time?
Worse than poor, but
I know. It was
the points across. The points across.
But let's take a look at how this actually breaks down in action, right? So snap of the ball. Terrible. So what do we say? Left tackle takes the DN, right? What did happen? Left tackle took the DN.
Yes.
Julio Jones, he peels upfield. He actually kind of goes away.
I like that.
He peeled away, but he got the safety. That's cool. So that's one of the 4 guys. Now, Gabriel, he takes the other guy. And now 67's kicking to get to the outside corner. Mm-hmm. Bad stick. I need to go wrap around him.
Yes.
So that's how that works. So let's take a look at this again. Now, you didn't move anyone this time. Mm-mm. Notice how the left side of the box has the extra support.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. So now I want to run off the right edge, okay?
Yeah.
So here, now run off the right edge, pitch it, get out, block, 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 block. There go, interior, and now I get out wide, and there's one defender. The blocker didn't fully get out there, but I still get a one-on-one on that guy, and if I can shake and bake him, I'm gone. Now, the one thing you can also do when it comes to the run game is you can add players to your blocking scheme to give you an advantage. So if I know on the right side I already have a numbers advantage with my blockers, or at least a hat and a hat, I can give myself an extra blocker, and that's what makes this halfback pitch so deadly. I can motion over Gabriel here. He'll run over on that side.
This guy did not follow him.
He doesn't follow him.
That's good.
So when they don't follow, that means I get the extra bonus in the run game. So now I get a +1 advantage. So that makes this run to the right side more deadly. Kick off that right edge. I get blocked. Bad stick. I'm not trying to have a great stick here. I'm trying to explain it. Okay?
Sometimes I don't even have to try and have terrible stick. I just have great stick naturally. Like, I don't have to try. It just happens. Like, that's... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like...
I need to sit there and think about it, but better stick there. I got an 8-yard run. So, 6-yard run.
Bill's playbook here, breaking down how the run game works, how the 3-headed rushing attack works, how you can, because it's a balanced set, quickly flip it, how you can go to the dive, how you can motion a guy over, get an extra blocker, how you can check your run fits on defense with a right trigger and then X and B. All these things are huge, important for running the ball, and you're going to see it in the deuce close, which is like this, tight slots, but just a little bit different.
Yeah.
Any of these balanced formations, any of these balanced sets, crucial stuff here to learn if you want to become a better player.
Anytime you run the ball, you want to think in this way, but it's even more important when you want to implement a 3-head rushing attack, because the strength of the 3-head rushing attack is that you always take the run that gives you the best advantage. Now, there'll be times when players make amazing plays. There'll be times when your offensive lineman miss a block because of ratings. There'll be time when your opponent makes an amazing user play, shoots the gap, and blows it up.
They'll scrape or they'll guess the run. But also, show the box, the green and red. You play art?
I can't, I don't think.
Art, trigger, right stick up?
I can't hear.
Okay, it doesn't
do
do it.
Online.
So if you're online, it'll show you the box and how you should run it. That is usually correct, but it's not necessarily like...
Gives you some intel.
The stretch, I try and find it. You should learn how to do the math yourself and just kind of try and figure it out. But this is a really good run to start. This is Bill's playbook. It's in the Saints as well. Is the pitch in the Saints?
Yeah, it's in the Bills. It's in the Saints. Patriots, formation's a little wonky with quick audibles and plays, so careful there. And then you also find it in the Jets. And I think it's in one more, but it's escaping me right now. So But that's the start and the foundation of this offense. You come out in the pitch, and then you have the pitch to dive, a lot of different moving parts to run. And that's just the runs.
All right, we're going to end that right there because that's a very important tip to learn how to run the ball.